Hello and welcome to Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi conducts aerial survey of flood-hit Himachal and Punjab states, says his government stands with the victims in this tragic hour. Ethiopia inaugurates Africa's largest hydroelectric project, the Grand Renaissance Dam, after years of dispute with Egypt. Israel orders full evacuation of Gaza City, vows to enter the enclave's largest urban center with great force to defeat Hamas. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Russian strike in Donetsk kills at least 20 civilians, latest in a series of deadly attacks amid stalled peace efforts. And Cambodia opens a $2 billion Chinese-built airport in the capital of Phnom Penh in its effort to revive its struggling tourism sector. Hello and welcome. We begin with the political whirlwind in the Himalayan kingdom of Nepal. After 2 days of Gen Z-led protests that escalated into clashes and arson, Prime Minister Sharma Ali has resigned. The Prime Minister's resignation follows widespread demands for his ouster over rampant corruption in the country. Sharma Ali was flown to the army headquarters from his residence in a military chopper immediately after his resignation. Ali cited the current extraordinary situation in the country for his decision to step down from the post of Prime Minister. He also said his decision was in order to seek a constitutional and political solution to the problems through broader consensus in Parliament. Thousands of protesters who were already out on the streets kicked off celebrations and cheered as the Prime Minister stepped out. But scenes of horror and arson unfolded just minutes before these celebrations. The video that you see on your screen shows Nepal's Finance Minister Bishnu Paudel running for his life as an angry mob chases him through the streets. He was caught by the mob after being kicked by one of the protesters while he was running. This is Nepal's former Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, and he was also assaulted by agitated protesters. Hours before this, a mob stormed the house of the Nepalese President Ram Chandra Poudel. Now, this was President Paudel's private residence and was completely ransacked and then torched. Gunfire was also reported outside Prime Minister Sharma Ali's residence, where protesters reportedly tried to break the gates. One person was injured in the firing. Now, Prime Minister Ali's private residence in Japa district was set ablaze after being ransacked. Houses of several other ministers and central bank governor, along with the headquarters of the ruling Nepali Congress Party, were set ablaze. As the attacks on government officials escalated rapidly, the government deployed at least 3 choppers to rescue ministers whose residences were under attack by protesters. Out on the streets, dramatic scenes unfolded as thousands defied curfew and protested against the government. Violence continued as protesters pelted stones and clashed with the security forces deployed across the city, who fired smoke bombs, tear gas shells and rubber bullets. The streets turned into war zones with multiple incidents of fire as protesters faced off with security personnel in riot gear. One of the videos showed police in riot gear using their shields for protection while retreating as a huge crowd came running and hurled stones at them. Gen Z protesters also broke through the main gates and breached Parliament. Huge billows of black smoke were seen erupting from the Parliament building after a fire broke out. Flights from Kathmandu's Tribhuvan International Airport have been cancelled. All domestic airports in Nepal have been shut due to the unrest. While anger among the Nepalese people had long been simmering, what unfolded on September the 8th added fuel to the fire. At least 19 people died and around 400 were injured in Kathmandu as thousands protested against the government and its ban on 26 social media websites. Nepal's capital was gripped by clashes and violence. This was the tipping point. Though the ban was revoked later in the day, the Nepalese Home Minister and 2 other ministers resigned. It did not quell the anger among the people, who demanded an end to corruption in the country and a change in leadership. Meanwhile, India has ramped up security on its borders with Nepal. A police post has been set up and forces have been deployed. New Delhi also said it is monitoring the developments closely, adding that it hopes for a peaceful settlement of dispute between the concerned parties. India also advised its nationals in Nepal to exercise caution and to adhere to guidelines issued by Nepalese authorities. After Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, Nepal is the 3rd country in India's neighbourhood to witness a regime change due to a people's uprising, particularly a youth uprising. Now, how does this impact South Asia? But first and foremost, what's next for Nepal? A return to monarchy, a corruption-free democracy, or never-ending revolving door politics? For more on this, we have with us Jagadish Opande. He is the editor of the Diplomat Nepal magazine. Welcome to Firstpost.
Thank you so much.
Now, with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli's resignation after days of violent Gen Z-led protests, what immediate steps can Nepal's political leadership take to restore stability and to prevent this unrest from spiraling further?
So the Prime Minister of Nepal, KP Sharma Oli, resigned today, and after his resignation, there are the four security agencies, including the Nepal Army, led by the General Ashok Raj Sigdel, and Home Secretary and Chief Secretary. They came up with a statement that we need a peace settlement, and we should do a political dialogue with youth Gen Z. So now the forward way is that they security leadership led by Nepal army is there, and on the other hand there is a Gen Z youth, and on the other hand there is a one of the dynamic leader in Nepal. He's popular in all over the Nepal, is a metropolitan mayor, Balendra Saha. So he's the
Mm.
one who have also contributed, who have also helped from the social media to Gen Z, and they also love him. So there might be the
Yes.
dialogue between these three different three people or the team, and then they can come up with some sort of conclusion, including the
Right.
dissolved of the parliament and the new interim government. Yeah.
Right. Corruption and curbs on freedom of expression were the rallying cries of the youth. Do you see this as a turning point for Nepal's democracy? Is the country at risk of falling back into the cycle of elite-driven revolving door politics?
I think this is one of the turning point in the Nepal political history, because Nepal have come up with the different time frame. Like in 1951 Nepal have a democracy, and in 1961 Nepal again went to the panchayat era where king rules, and 1991 Nepal again came with the democracy, and 2006-7 Nepal abolished the more than 250 years long king regime, and now the from that this leadership from Nepali Congress, UML, and the Maos, they are ruling the country.
Mm,
But in this time period, for in this 3 decades of time period, there have been a lot of corruption. There are a lot of mismanagement, and the people are
mm,
fed up with that, and they are not they are not realizing themselves to come up what they can do for the people or the nation. So it I think this will be the turning point for the Nepal's political or country's history, for the
mm.
new that Nepal can go for the new path, for the betterment for the country with the new leadership.
Right. Right. In your view, could the current scenario open up the possibility of Nepal returning to monarchy or a shift to autocracy?
So I think the current situation where we have been witnessing now in Kathmandu is like we are going with the interim government, and still we have a president, the president constitutional, only the constitutional
Yes.
president, and we are going for the interim government, likely to go with the interim government. But till now we don't have any possible, we didn't see any possibility of coming back, coming back of the democracy. But there are speculation from the few peoples, but it's not as of now we don't see the clear picture of the monarchy coming back.
Right. And Dr. Shaw, please will you stay with us while we take a look at a few other elements of the story, and we will come right back to you.
So.
Now, as landlocked Nepal's democracy heads into uncharted territory, the spotlight is on KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister who resigned after days of protests amid accusations of failing to address the anger among the youth over corruption, underdevelopment and curbs on freedom of speech. Now, Khadga Prasad Sharma Ali, better known as KP Ali, has long been one of Nepal's most recognizable political faces and also one of the most polarizing leaders, this according to his critics. At 72, he has quit as Prime Minister following the violent anti-government protests that continue to keep the Himalayan nation on edge. For many ordinary Nepalis, Ali remains a figure of contradictions. Once a fiery young communist, he spent 14 years in prison during the Panchayat era between 1973 and 1987. Now, as pro-democracy fever took over Nepal, Ali recast himself as an ultra-nationalist, telling Nepali people through public forums that he stands for national interests. Ali served as Prime Minister of Nepal on 2 occasions, from 2015 to 2016 and from 2018 to 2021. In his current term as Prime Minister, Ali promised reform, governance and deployment, with development, but over a year in, and for many in Nepal, his promises ring hollow. Now, his government was accused of bypassing Nepal's hard-won parliamentary democracy by bringing ordinances, especially on matters related to the economy. In the recent months, corruption scandals started piling up. When one is of his own top cabinet ministers, the Home Minister was linked to a visa scam, Ali kept silent, and the Home Minister continued to be in office until last evening's protests forced him to resign. Now, reports say that under Ali's leadership, corruption became normalized, and that struck a deep chord with an increasingly restless youth. His fall also comes amid a broader political churn. Nepal has been a federal republic since 2008, when it abolished 240 years of monarchy. But this March, the pro-monarchy protests swept through the streets and fueled by both nostalgia for the king and growing frustration with today's politicians. For many young Nepalis, Ali's personified that same cycle: broken promises, backroom deals and elite collusions. This autumn, Ali's strongman image collapsed in and beyond Kathmandu. The latest protest, sparked by a social media ban, spiraled into Nepal's most violent demonstrations in decades. Scholars noted that 19 killings in police crackdowns in just 2 days was as many as King Gyanendra's forces killed during the 2006 democracy movement. Ali's fall also mirrors turmoil across the region. Just last August, Bangladesh's Sheikh Hasina was forced to leave Dhaka after student protests morphed into a mass uprising. Like Hasina, Ali too has now been swept away by the streets, and a signal of deeper disillusionment with South Asia's political class and a loud demand for clean governance and accountability. And now we come back to you. Thank you for waiting with us. We'll jump straight into the next questions. Jagdashore. Now, is it the end of the long and controversial career of KP Sharma Ali, or will he eye a comeback in the future?
So I think from this point of view, we see the end of his political career, as well as there has been a lot of there will be there are a lot of leaders from the KP Oli is and for example former Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba and other leaders also. We see this is the end of their career, and the one more thing is that there is also question what will be happen there, UML party, Nepali Congress party in future. So there is also question on their party's future also.
And given that Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and now Nepal have seen these youth-led uprisings topple governments, what role does India have to play to bring stability in the subcontinent?
I think India, one of the influential power in this region now, as well as in the world also. There is a one famous statement that we can we can't change our neighbors, so we need to work closely, have a close tie in this global volatile situation. It's better to have a economic cooperation and build proper rapportment with any government that come into the power in Kathmandu, Delhi, or Colombo, or in Dhaka or Male. So it's better to have a rapportment with those government, and to work for the betterment of the people of two countries.
Right. Jagato, thank you very much for being with us on Firstpost Spotlight and for your valued insights on all the latest out of Nepal.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Our next story is on North Korea. The country is again pushing the limits of its weapons program. Leader Kim Jong-un personally oversaw a new test. The test pertains to a solid fuel rocket engine. The trial, supervised by the North Korean leader, took place on Monday. This was the 9th and final ground test of the engine, and it is designed for intercontinental ballistic missiles. Now, the engine is built with a carbon fiber. It is solid fueled, meaning it allows faster missile launches. It's capable of producing 1,971 kilonewtons of thrust, and it reportedly has more power than its earlier models. Now, Kim Jong-un described this test as an eye-opening event. He also called it a significant change in strengthening nuclear forces. Now, what's worth noting is the engine test came just a week after North Korea unveiled its Hwasong-20, dubbed as its next-gen ICBM. And analysts believe that this engine could be used to test the Hwasong. That could possibly happen sometime later this year. Now, this could align with the upcoming Workers' Party Congress that is scheduled for early 2026, where new strategic directions are expected to be announced. So a successful ICBM test could be a dramatic show of strength, both to his people and to international powers. Just days ago, Kim Jong-un visited Beijing. Standing alongside Chinese President Xi Jinping, he attended a massive military parade. During that event, China showcased its new age weapons and military, and experts believe that may have left a mark on Kim Jong-un, and it may have moved him to pursue his nuclear program with more dedication. North Korea has long relied on China as its political and economic partner. Russia, too, has emerged as a strategic ally, and it has provided military support despite Western sanctions. Experts say this signals North Korea's intention of not just wanting powerful weapons, but also powerful alliances. In recent years, North Korea has tested a range of intercontinental ballistic missiles, some with the potential to reach the U.S. mainland. These missiles use solid propellants, making them easier to move, hide, and prepare for launch than earlier liquid fuel models. Kim Jong-un has called for further advancements in long-range weapons, including multi-warhead systems, to improve chances against missile defenses. With these developments, North Korea continues to advance its missile capabilities, leaving the global community watching closely for what comes next. And finally, shifting focus to Thailand, the Southeast Asian country's Supreme Court has ordered former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra back to prison. Earlier today, the Supreme Court ruled that ex-Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra must serve 1 year behind bars. Judges found that his earlier sentence in 2023 had been improperly carried out in hospital instead of prison. Now, the former Prime Minister, the face of Thailand's most dominant Shinawatra political dynasty, was moved to Bangkok and remanded to prison shortly after the verdict. The Correction Department officials confirmed his transfer early this afternoon. Now, Thaksin was elected as Prime Minister in 2001 and again in 2005. Thaksin Shinawatra's time in office was cut short by a 2006 military coup. He spent years abroad in self-imposed exile before returning to Thailand in August of 2023. And following his return, he was sentenced to 8 years for abuse of power. That punishment was later reduced to a single year through a royal pardon. But out of that 1 year of prison sentence, Thaksin Shinawatra spent only a few hours behind bars. Now, this on complaints of heart trouble and chest pain. The Thai leader was then transferred to a luxury suite of a hospital where he spent 6 months and was later released on parole. But today, the court said his hospital stay could not be counted as time served in prison. The judges ruled that he was never in critical condition and his illnesses could have been treated as an outpatient. The court made it clear that the billionaire politician must serve his sentence without any special treatment. The verdict comes as another blow to the Shinawatra clan. Just last month, his daughter, Paetongtarn, was forced out as Prime Minister. And only last week, her pro-Thai party lost power to a new coalition, now led by Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul. Now, earlier today, Thaksin appeared in court with daughter Paetongtarn by his side, and she told reporters that Thaksin remained in good spirits, calling him a spiritual leader who had always stood for the Thai people. Outside, his supporters said that although they do not agree with the court's decision, they nonetheless respect it.
We appreciate all support for my father and family. Thaksin remains a spiritual leader for Thai politics. He always thinks about the country and always intends to improve lives of Thai people.
I feel uneasy because former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra has done so much good for the country, but he still has to face punishment. That's why I'm not at ease. I want to see justice, but I also have to respect the court's order.
Today's Supreme Court ruling points to another turbulent chapter in Thailand's politics, one that has seen Thaksin Shinawatra and his family at the center of coups, protests and legal battles for more than 2 decades. And that's all we have on the show for today. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.